So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to yet another empowering edition of the Vibe Live, a Hexalog. The Vibe that stands for Women Inspire, Build, and Enhance is a platform dedicated to fostering women's excellence. It brings together women doctors from diverse specialities to share knowledge, leadership experiences, and personal journeys that inspire growth and collaboration. There are four fundamental pillars that form the vibe, which are physical well being, mental health, financial wisdom, and professional excellence. Through various initiatives, the Vibe strives to build a strong community of women professionals who uplift one another and redefine the landscape. So, I'm Dr. Ritu Johri, a consultant diabetologist and metabolic expert practicing in the western suburbs of Mumbai. I have a very unique, diverse background with decade and a half behind the pharma industry, working on drug development, and now almost half a decade working on the clinical side of it, practicing diabetes, thyroid, and obesity. Besides directing our two clinics, I also applied my past learnings from the pharma era as a co-founder of RFEC, which is a medical marketing agency. But what brings me most pleasure in sharing is the introduction of this exclusive initiative, The Vibe, as a founder of one of its kind platform that targets fostering women excellence. With that, let me introduce you to our team wide. Dr. Lotika?
Hello, I am Dr. Lotika Purohit, a diabetologist and a lifestyle medicine physician practicing in Colaba for over 3 decades. Besides that, besides treating people with diabetes and other lifestyle diseases, I also am, my husband is a tech crazy diabetologist. I'm a mother to an artist and an entrepreneur. And I thoroughly enjoy traveling and seeing new places. Over to Kavita.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Dr. Kavita Rane. I practice in Chembur for the past 15 years. My focus is mainly cardio diabetes because my father is a cardiologist. I also run his hospital as a director of operations, Rane Hospital in Chembur. I am a visiting consultant at Apollo Spectra and Inlax General Charitable Hospital here in Chembur. I love to paint. I love drawing. I love abstract art. I love EDM music. I love to play golf. I love to interact with such amazing women, just like on this platform today. So over to you, Dr. Pranjali.
So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Dr. Pranjali Shah, Director and Chief Diabetologist at Diabetes Clinic. It's in Mulund, and Director of Internal Operations, I Heal. It's an eye complete specialty center. I love treating young diabetics and help them live longer and stronger. But if you don't find me in my clinic, you will see me doing farming on my weekends, spending time in animal shelters, doing hiking, and I was a state level badminton player too. So whenever I get a free time, you will find me on the badminton court as well. Over to you, Dr. Rukia.
Hello everyone here. Welcome Dr. Anjali here and I'm Dr. Rukia Surya Sheikh. I'm a diabetes and thyroid and obesity specialist. I've also been practicing in Mulund for the last more than a decade and a half. And beyond the clinic, I love to work out. I love to play carom and these meaningful conversations that spark both laughter and thought. And recently I've discovered this joy of painting where this is my escape into the world of color and calm. And it's truly inspiring to be among these women here, my co founders of Vibe, who heal others every day. And they still manage to bring the color, the strength, and heart in everything they do. So, welcome, Dr. Anjali.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so nice to be with all you wonderful women here, women doctors too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Every year, October 10th is observed as the Mental Health Awareness Day globally. But alongside our progress on various arms, we continue to shoulder a burden of various mental health disorders, with depression itself affecting almost 33% Indians and fast increasing suicide rates. Acknowledging the need to address the unspoken, we decided our theme for this week as breaking the silence behind the superwoman myth. Best represented by a persona that is in front of you, an amalgamation of grace, calm, passion, radiance, humility, and of course, leadership. Welcome to a Hexalog with Dr. Anjali Chhabria, one of the most eminent psychiatrists, one who leads innovative strategies transforming mental health care, India and beyond. Indeed, an honor to have you, ma'am, with us. Welcome to the Hexalog. And a quick question: how did you feel when you were invited for this platform, ma'am?
Oh, thank you so much. I heard such lovely things about you. Some of my friends have already been on your show and they told me, you know what, you're going to go and enjoy it. So I'm right here to enjoy myself.
Lovely. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, allow me a moment to introduce Dr. Anjali Chhabria, a prominent psychiatrist and psychotherapist in India who has founded the Mind Temple Clinic in 2005, where a team of psychologists and psychotherapists work to provide optimal mental health solutions for individuals of all ages, right from children to adults to geriatrics. Mind Temple facility offers innovative procedures, state-of-the-art treatment methods designed to offer effective relief for a wide range of mental health conditions. In addition to individual therapy sessions, Mind Temple hosts support groups designed to foster community and connection among diverse demographic groups. For the past 2 decades, they've been running support groups specifically tailored for singles navigating life's transitions, commonly referred to as single again, and also offer invaluable support to senior citizens seeking companionship and understanding. Dr. Chhabria served as the president of the Bombay Psychiatric Society in 2001. She has also served on the board of the Children's Film Society and is presently a director of the Salam Bombay Foundation and chairperson of the media. Dr. Chhabria is also the author of the book Death is Not the Answer, which breaks the taboo on discussing the sensitive subject of suicide and provides readers with ways to prevent it. She's also the founder of the Mind Temple Institute of Behavioral Sciences, which provides holistic solutions for workplace and educational institutes, mental health well-being across the globe. And since its conception, MIPS has addressed thousands of employees, employers, students, parents, and teachers' queries. So, with that, man, thoroughly welcome you to this episode, this Hexalog of 3rd December. So, over to you, Pranjali, for the first segment.
Thank you. Thank you for such a lovely, warm welcome. I'm happy to be here.
And thank you so much, Dr. Ritu, for this inspirational introduction. And that increases my curiosity for the next first segment, which is about personal journey and reflections. So, ma'am, I want to take a moment to acknowledge how far the field of mental health has come. Today we openly talk about therapy, burnout, emotional fatigue. But Dr. Anjali, your journey started in an era where the mental health didn't have the recognition, the vocabulary, or even the acceptance it enjoys today. So, ma'am, we will be going little personal and deeper
Absolutely.
to know about. Today, you are considered as a guru in the field of mental health. But what was that one cause or the defining event that has shaped you, the making of Dr. Anjali and the mental health champion we see it today? So, what was the story?
No, so I think I was always interested in mental health. Of course, I didn't even know a field of psychiatry was present. But even my earliest memories go down to being, maybe I think I was 5 or 6 years old. Okay. And we had a neighbor who was probably suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder at that time. And what we would see is he would lock his house and check the lock around 60 times. I still remember this. And, children being children would be naughty. And, as soon as he would reach 50 or 55, they would go and disturb him. And he had to recheck again, and he had to start from 1 to 60. Okay. And, it intrigued me. And maybe my parents recognized that I had this compassionate side to me even then, and they never made fun of him. Okay, they said, no, it looks like he's going through something. He's suffering from something, and once in a while he would scream and he would probably have auditory hallucinations and he would talk to God or he would talk to the sky, and my parents would say that, maybe we need to send him some food. Okay, so I think that was the first step of compassion, that no one made fun of him in our house compared to other houses. Okay. And then, of course, of course, I got into medicine because at that time it was very clear, either you want to do something, you become a doctor, or we'll get you married. Now, who wanted to be married at 18, right? So I said, let me study and get into medicine. Through my early MBBS journeys, we all know that 50% was passing. I would barely get 57, 58 and be very happy that, okay, I've gone into the next year. And then was the time we used to have these little clinics, right? And when I discovered psychiatry clinics, I said, yes, this is where I want to be. I just loved the subject. I still love it. And I think very early in life, I had realized that, okay, I want to do something I love. I don't want to be behind a computer. Okay, I love being with people. So I had other options. But, and then, of course, I told my parents that, I want to become a psychiatrist. And then guess what? All their friends who were doctors came and said, no, 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 हमने सुना है psychiatrist पागल हो जाते हैं, इससे कोई शादी नहीं करेगा. Okay. And you convince her to take something else. Okay. So I had 5 MDs to choose from. Okay. I had path, I had anesthesia, I had psychiatry, I had pharmac and ENT.
Okay.
Okay. And I thought about it. I spoke to a lot of people. Okay. I actually went up to psychiatrist and I remember asking this senior psychiatrist, I said, I've heard that psychiatrists after a few years, they go crazy. Is it true? So he looked at me and he said, do you think pediatricians start babbling after some time? Okay. So I said, yeah, you have a point there. So then I came home and I told my parents that, this is what I want to do. Okay. And I'm very sure about it. Okay. And very sweetly, they said, okay, if this is what you want to do, you do it. Of course, we are talking about 1981.
Oh, wow.
Okay. There were hardly any women psychiatrists.
Psychiatrists, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I went for a conference, I was one lady, 100 men. Okay, so that was the ratio. And of course, at that time, people from our families did not even do post-graduation, right? So my parents had a second problem. They were like, you'll become a postgraduate and then you're going to become a psychiatrist. Shaadi ke chances to bilkul khatam, So, but anyway, and then
that's very important. Like your family was so supportive in the 1980s. It's a big thing, that's
absolutely, and then when I entered psychiatry, I mean, when you're passionate about something, and then I started topping the university. So those next 3 years, I was like, so even I knew that this is where I belonged and I still belong to.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing it openly. And now building on this, you are seeing a lot of female patients from teenagers to postpartum to menopausal. So based on your experience, what do you feel are the most misunderstood aspects of women's mental health today? And was there any one encounter or experience you would like to share?
So of course, I think, women have been misunderstood, and they're more misunderstood, especially when they're either going through behavior disorders as a teenager. Okay, because what they show to the world is not what they feel inside, and some of them may want to consume alcohol, some of them get into risky behavior patterns. Okay, but scratch the surface and you'll find depression.
Okay.
Similarly, post delivery. Okay, that is the time, I know we all go to people's houses, not doctors, but otherwise, and we say, oh, the baby looks like this one and the baby looks like that one. The truth of the matter is that the baby probably looks like a monkey when the child is born, But what I often tell everyone is please check on the mental health of the mother. because this is the time, it's very, very important to pick up subtle signs, to ask her whether she's being able to sleep. What does she feel towards the child? When women feel guilty when they feel nothing towards the child, right? And many a times they're so tired, they're so exhausted, they have lack of sleep. Some of them have stopped working, some of them are living with their own mothers or mother-in-law who will come and check on the milk, which has, how much milk did you produce every half an hour? And she's almost guilty of not being able to feed her child well. Okay. And then, of course, during menopause, we have other concerns. No, I mean, I have seen women after menopause. I still remember this lady who suddenly, at the age of 50, said, I want to divorce my husband. Okay. And everyone was shocked because she looked perfectly happy. Okay. And she says, no, I've been taking all his torture for the last so many years. Now my children have grown up. I don't want to have anything to do with him. Okay. So she was labeled as a bad woman because, she decided that she wanted to exercise. She wanted to do so many things, right? And maybe even explore other relationships. Okay. And I remember when she came to meet me, and she was like, so I just asked her, so how are you feeling? How's your sleep? How's your appetite? Okay, because these are some of the first symptoms which get affected, And I realized she was in a depression, and of course, whatever issues she had in her marriage, the fact is that she had been able to work around them till depression finally hit her during menopause, and she thought the way was to get out of the marriage. Okay, we treated her depression. She's still living with the same husband, okay, who probably values her a little more now. And she has, I mean, she's doing whatever she wants. So, coming to your question, I think it's very important that, of course, we need, because many a times you'll see most of the fights that happen in a marriage could be just before the periods. Okay. So it's very important to understand the role of hormones. Okay. And no longer is psychiatry only psychological. In fact, more and more studies are showing that there are certain parts in the brain, which if you do an fMRI, you will see depression, there is left prefrontal slowing, anxiety, right prefrontal activity goes up, and so on. So it's important that we give women the help that they need, and for that, to all the doctors who are here with us today and who will see the show, I think it's important as to how you refer someone to a psychiatrist. Because even today there is a stigma, unfortunately.
I think we need to listen to our body, what you're telling, and we need to discuss. And maybe we should diagnose the early signs of depression. That will help. Like you said, this
Absolutely.
case was like amazingly described, and this can help to save marriages also.
Absolutely.
So, ma'am, in the last 10 years, the way women talk about mental health has evolved dramatically from
Yes.
silence to whispers, and now we talk openly in all the conversations. So, I would love to hear from your lens, what changes have you witnessed in the last decades in how women seek help or talk about their mental health today?
So I think definitely women, even hearing all you amazing women follow not only your profession, but also your passion. I think that's so important, because this is definitely a change that finally women are being able to see themselves as an equal, because earlier it was that, okay, adjust in a marriage, adjust to your male boss, you have to follow, tolerate. Okay, these were words that were spoken with a great sense of pride. Okay, but I think in the last 10 years, I have seen a lot of people change. Even today, like people, I know of a lot of young couples where the husband also takes paternity leave to take care of the child. Okay, so I think, and all this has affected the mental health of women also. So people today know that yes, there is something called mental health, which is, if not more, at least it's equally important to physical health, and we must take charge of it.
Yes,
Okay, but
Absolutely.
along with that, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We need more awareness. We need more forums like this where people discuss mental health openly.
Yes, absolutely right, ma'am. So, ma'am, today, working professionals, especially women, they juggle multiple roles, expectations, and emotional load, and many feel stretched, overwhelmed, and disconnected from themselves. So, this is something personal and your secret. I want to know what is one mindset or habit you wish one working professional adopted. So, what is your secret which help you grounded or help to overcome your overwhelming situations?
So I'll tell you, so even when I began, I remember, I think I used to feel that, oh, I have to do everything at home. I have to take care of the kids, right? And that's when I would, wake up in the morning, run to the hospital, do all the work there, because there also I felt that there was a sense of guilt. Am I doing as much
Yeah.
as my male colleagues are doing? Because they don't need to take maternity leave. Okay, when the child falls sick, it's generally the women who want the children also want their mother, they don't want their father around, at least that time. Okay, so you have to, then say, oh, I'm so sorry, my child is not well. Okay, and so I would overdo the work over there, then I would come back home and I would feel sorry that my mother-in-law had to do so much work and my children were living without me. Okay, and I remember once I fainted in the hospital. Okay,
Mm.
so I was probably 10 kilos lighter. My blood pressure was always on the lower side. And I actually, I mean, it was not nothing too much. And at that time, my senior teacher came and told me, he said, Anjali, you've been working very hard. I want you to take 10 minutes rest, okay, before you start with your next. So when you go home, he actually told me this. He said, your mother's house comes on the way between the hospital and and your house. Go there at least twice a week, sleep for 10 minutes, and then go home. Okay. And that's when I realized that I was ignoring, probably the
Mm.
most important person, which was me. Okay. And then, of course, I mean, see, you love what you do, you're hardworking, you're passionate about your children, you want to do everything. And that's maybe after some time, I also realized that as a working woman who also wants to give the best to her family, it's very important to learn the word juggle and prioritize. Okay. So, so of course, I have always worked uh, my timings have been, fortunately, I've never worked in the evenings. So I start work in the morning, which was my children's school timing. So I would start work by 8:39 and I would try and finish by 4 o'clock by the time they came back home. Okay, I've still stuck to the same timings. Okay, and at the same time, what did I do was if the house situation needed me, I would just announce at the clinic that, okay, my child is sick or my mother-in-law is not well. She's in hospital and I will not be coming to the clinic. If there's something urgent, then, I'll be there for you. So similarly, and then when the house was all right, I would tell everybody, now going to pay attention to my clinic. Okay. And that's how I have survived the last 3.5 decades. And when you start doing it, okay, to an extent, I even remember that then there was another thing which I also chose to do was, in case, I mean, I could be sitting with the most important person, okay, but if my children call me or if my parents call me, okay, then I will answer that call. I will excuse myself. I'll say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to take this call because it may be urgent.
Yes.
Okay, because they're not going to disturb me otherwise. Okay, and if I don't answer it, I'll be worrying about why they called me. So please excuse me, I'm going to take this call and I'm going to get back. So I think prioritizing, juggling, taking care of yourself, you know, and maybe keeping your own boundaries. Don't get into the rat race. There is no rat race. Everybody is just
Yeah.
trying to do their best to survive. Okay.
Yeah.
You do what you're good at, you know. So I never liked prescribing too many medicines. And because of that, I would every year try and get some new therapy to the clinic. Okay. And that's how, we join practice. So it's not that today, even if I'm busy, it's not that somebody will go unattended to. There's always a counselor, always a psychologist who will be there to talk to someone if there is an emergency. So, working together with like-minded
Team
people,
building, yes.
team building,
I think that is delegation of work and team building, what I can
also
understood from
helps.
your this.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inputs. And now over to Dr. Kavita for segment 2.
Thank you, Dr. Pranjali. It was such an insightful thing of what you said about postpartum women and them needing their whole village in the form of their family to help out, to be more observant. So, ma'am, this next segment is, like you said, hormones, brain, behavior. It goes towards that. So, women experience a cyclical, roller coaster attributed to hormonal shifts from time to time. However, it's not only under recognized but also undervalued. So an irritable man, like for example, is like justified being irritable just due to workload or stress at work, but an irritable woman, well, that is merely titled as a moody character or something like that, which also I believe the basis of your upcoming book. So can you elaborate a little on how hormonal transition like puberty, PMS, pregnancy, postpartum, or perimenopause shape mental health in women?
So I'll add to what I've already said before. So of course, hormones, they change, and because of that, the behavior of the woman may change. So you will have an extremely, smiling girl who suddenly, before her period, becomes irritable and gets moody and, starts throwing tantrums. And the parents are getting upset with her, saying, don't be moody, don't be irritable. Okay. And not trying to understand why she's feeling like that. Okay. Now, I mean, all you experts on PCOD, okay, know that it is so much related to the mental health. And when you tell someone, okay, lifestyle changes. Okay, what also happens is one need to understand why is this person not being able to change the lifestyle, right? So
Absolutely.
sometimes what happens is that, sometimes what happens is that the stress becomes distress and it becomes depression. Now coming to your postpartum, okay, and as doctors we need to understand when that happens. Okay, now coming to postpartum, 50% women have postpartum blues. Okay,
Yeah.
1 in 100, okay, may have postpartum depression. Okay, where she just feels a loss of interest. She does not even feel connected to the child. And then
No bonding.
feels guilty. There's no bonding. She feels guilty. Her sleep and appetite have gone for a toss. Okay. Now, my recommendation to all the young and old gynecologists who are listening to this is please do not hesitate to refer the person to a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you don't tell them, how will they know? I've often told my friends saying that, just keep some questionnaires while y'all make your pregnant women wait in the clinic for hours together. Let them fill up these questionnaires, understand what is their mental health. Because even through pregnancy, the young girl is going through so much pressure. Yeah, I mean, now people don't say it as openly. Okay, but earlier, my Dr. Latika will tell you how we were told कि भाई इस समय तो बेटा होना जरूरी है. As if it was in our hands. And being doctors, you will say, yeah, Get your son has put the X or the Y chromosome and we have nothing to do with it. Okay, but it was a question on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
नहीं, family तो complete होनी चाहिए.
Yeah.
Okay. And
True.
even today we have this. In today's society, we have this. Okay, in India, people will not do a sex determination.
Mm.
Okay, but you know what may be happening in the villages,
Yeah.
to the female
Right.
fetus, right?
Yeah.
And then,
True.
of course, the mental pressure, the
Yeah.
emotional pressure of having to always be the understanding person. Okay,
Yeah.
as you said, irritable man चलेगा वो तो बेचारा काम करके आया है. Okay, but you be
Yeah.
irritable and you're the bitch. And
Yeah.
that's the book that I'm thinking about.
That's
The
true.
bitch and the bichara. You're always the bitch. Okay, because he's the bichara, the ladla boy who has been, the girls have grown.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the boys, some of them have caught up, but some of them are still catching up. And some of them need a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
Because the boy comes from work and he's asked, Bhaiya baitho, pani piyo. And the girl comes back and rushes into the kitchen or rushes to finish the homework of the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Children also do mama, mama. I don't know why they don't do papa, papa when they are born. Okay, so there is, and what happens is, though a lot of women may be able to go through it, with some of them, it affects not only, and the brain body connection, how the metabolism gets affected, how
Yeah.
the metabolism slows down. And there
Yeah.
are certain ages I tell women to be careful 30, 35 metabolism,
Yeah.
50, 55. Once you successfully cross this, and when the metabolism changes, your thyroid, your blood pressure, your diabetes, everything comes together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weight gain. Weight gain.
Yeah.
There also you're told you want to keep your man in your hand. You have to look sexy and attractive.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, everything is on you. Okay. Whether the guy has ED or not, that is also on you. There also you're blamed.
True. True. So clinically, like what signs, what are the signs do women often miss that indicate hormonal shifts affecting mood or cognition? So what do you think?
Yeah. So I think the first, very, very important is loss of interest in all pleasurable activities.
Okay.
Okay, which includes wanting to have sex. That is important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second is, of course, changes in sleep. Many of the times what happens is women they feel, no, I have to sleep late because I have to finish my work. I have to wake up early because I have to send the child to school. Okay, but what happens is the sleep gets impaired, and that's when women may start just popping in melatonin occasionally. Okay, but huge warning sign, don't take medicines to sleep. Find out if you have a fever for 5 days, you're not just going to keep popping paracetamol. You're going to find out, you're going to do your best to see what it is.
Right.
Similarly, insomnia. Of course, with that, there could be changes in appetite, either overeating, undereating, emotional eating, okay, as we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
of course, mood. Your mood becomes irritable, cranky. You're just coping with what is happening next, but there is no interest in wanting to do it. You just want to finish. Okay, and then that starts showing as, it may show as anxiety, it may show as depression, it may go worse, and then you also you're not able to, I'm talking about a young woman who's not able to give her best to a relationship, and then has the pressure of making all this work. So the stress becomes distress becomes a disturbance. Okay, and it could come up either as one or many of these conditions. And it's important that other people around notice.
Okay.
Okay.
That might be the most important what you're saying, that other people notice and be aware that this person is not quite normal or up to mark as she would generally be.
Yes.
Correct. So, ma'am, how do you differentiate between a stress response and a genuine psychiatric condition triggered by hormonal changes?
Yeah. So, see, stress is something that happens to all of us every day. Okay, but at the end of it, you're sleeping well, you're eating well, your weight is not suddenly going through the roof. Okay, and
Okay.
you're able to go to work. Okay, you may have a few bad days. Okay, but a psychiatric disorder is not just a bad day. Okay, now if you have a few bad days and then you rest it out one day, you go for a holiday, you feel good, you go for a yoga class, you dance, you sing, you feel good, that means yes, it is not a disturbance. Okay,
Mm.
but if you
Mm.
continuously feel like a stranger in a room
Mm.
full of even friends and family, if you're
Mm.
continuously feeling lonely, okay, if you're continuously feeling sad, overwhelmed, and anxious, okay, and you feel everything is an effort, things which came to you
Mm.
so easily, and then that reflects in your body, whether
Mm.
it is your
Mm.
metabolism, whether it is
Mm.
all your readings,
Yeah.
okay, or
Yeah.
your sleep, and your mood. And soon
Correct.
then, and what happens is people wait until it's too late. When helplessness, hopelessness, worthlessness feelings come in. Okay, and
True.
then occasionally you're feeling, life is not worth living. I wish I did not, I was dead. And then of course that goes into another chapter of, not taking care of yourself, which we call as a chronic suicide. You know,
Mm.
allowing yourself
Neglect.
total neglect, allowing
Neglect.
yourself to go haywire completely.
Okay. So, ma'am, your work on, let's talk about singles again. It's a landmark in itself. So, given the current scenario with evolving behaviors and changing relationships, so how frequently do you encounter women versus men in such situations?
No, so, I mean, just before I started the session, I was talking to this girl and who told me, she's saying they don't make men any longer, they only make princesses, and all the time you have to tiptoe around them. Okay. So the thing is that, of course, I see a lot of women who may be single, okay, and for no fault of theirs. I mean, they're smart, they're educated, they know what they want, and they know how they want to get it. Okay.
Yeah.
But what happens is that, and I tell them to wait. I said, there's no hurry. Today there's egg freezing also.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Don't marry the wrong person. Wait. Okay.
Mm.
And I'm not telling you that you behave as if you're God's gift to mankind. No.
Yeah.
Most
Mm.
of the girls who come to me are like, like, what did I do wrong? Maybe you didn't do anything wrong. Maybe you tolerated wrong for a long time,
Mm. Mm.
for
Mm.
whatever reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I remember this girl, I mean, who was actually married to a homosexual. Okay. And
Oh.
she kept thinking that it was her duty, okay, to get him out of it. Okay. And had to actually push
Right.
her, and I had to tell her parents that, listen, you don't have place for her
True.
in the house, you let me know, but you can't expect her to do everything and to get him out of it just because she's married in a good house.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
So I see a lot of these women who go
Right.
through self-doubt,
Right.
because they think it's their fault, and of
True.
course, when they come
True.
out of it, get into a decent
Proper
relationship,
relationship. Mm.
then they feel that it was worth the wait, but the
Right.
wait can become a little difficult for them,
True. 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 Thank you so much, ma'am. So this concludes this session, and moving on to the next segment, segment 3 by Dr. Rukia.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And all of this has been so insightful. And what stayed with me was, your reminder that women are often labeled these shifts as, being emotional instead of actually recognizing that there are biological changes which are happening
Yes.
beneath them. And that basically brings us to our next segment, because hormones don't exist in isolation and they intertwine with how women form relationships.
Right.
They carry this emotion labor, they set boundaries and defines their identity. So, with this segment, we want to explore the quieter corners of a woman's life, spaces where emotional expectations, invisible responsibilities, and identity pressures build them silently. And these experiences shape how women feel inside, but how they connect outside, even how they see themselves. So, my first question would be that women often become the emotional center of their homes and workplaces. Managing this invisible labor, holding the relationships together, carrying out expectations quietly. How do these emotional responsibilities, the partner dynamics that they have, and these blurred boundaries impact a woman's mental well being over time?
I think it's very, very important, I mean, today I met this one lady who said, she says, I've always had to depend on someone else to make the decision for me.
Mm.
Okay, first my mother told me what to wear. Okay, then
Yes.
my mother-in-law told me what to do or how to cook. Okay, then my sister-in-law told me what is to be done. Okay, and today my daughter-in-law is telling me. Okay, and I almost feel invisible. Okay, and what typically happens is that under this pressure of keeping everything under control, okay, it is
Yes.
the person who is taking all the pressure.
Yes.
Okay, whether it is a man blaming the wife for the child's behavior or bad marks,
Mm.
you
Agree.
know, okay, because it becomes her problem. Okay,
Mm.
then if a father and son are not talking, it becomes her problem that
Yes.
she needs to solve.
Yes.
Okay, if her parents are not talking, it becomes her problem.
Yes.
If her children have a problem, it becomes her problem. Okay, so everything somewhere becomes on her problem. And that little pressure keeps mounting.
Hmm.
Okay, and that can snap.
Right.
Okay, and when that snap happens, okay, of course, the body and mind are not separate. Okay, and what
Hmm.
happens in the mind affects the body, and what affects in the body affects the mind.
Absolutely.
For example, I mean, you're into weight management. Okay,
Yes.
a lot of times I have
A
seen
lot of times.
young girls, who are going through emotional health issues. Their weight go gallops,
Absolutely.
then they have disorders which are related to their body image.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
and that makes it worse,
Absolutely.
and
Hmm.
then according with that, there'll be self-harm that starts.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
self-harm, and one of the self-harm things is also emotional overeating,
Hmm.
or even cutting themselves.
Hmm.
And that could start even, as they're very little when they're in their preteens.
Right.
Okay, because again, when their opinion is not taken, today, when do
Hmm.
you feel important? When somebody takes your opinion.
Hmm.
Okay, I remember the one of the youngest kids, girls who I saw had self-harmed herself. She had tried to swallow pills,
Hmm.
okay, and she wanted to kill herself.
Hmm.
Okay, and when I asked her, and she was 6 years old.
Oh.
Okay, and this was not some posh five-star, I mean, it was not a rich person. This was in KEM hospital. Okay,
Hmm.
and then when I asked her, I said, she fooled a lot of people, very smart, intelligent girl. So then I started chatting with her, and she said, मैंने पिक्चर देखी, वो हीरोइन ही बहुत अच्छी थी, वो दवाई खा के मर जाती है. Okay, so then I started exploring, and she told me that there was a glass of milk which was given to the brother, not to her.
Okay.
Okay, and that is what had made her feel that she was not important. Okay, so
Hmm.
taking your daughter's opinion, taking your daughter-in-law's opinion, taking your mother's opinion,
Yeah.
okay, is or even your mother-in-law's opinion, I think is very important.
Yes. I think everyone wants
Okay.
that validation that makes them feel
And voice needs to be heard, no? That's
heard.
why you have a
Right.
voice.
And I think this invisible responsibility of holding everyone together, I
Yeah,
think the woman over there, she feels that she's very stretched between caring for
absolutely.
others and then caring for herself. So,
Yeah.
ma'am, how does she make that one small boundary to protect her emotional space?
So I think it's important that, when you feel that you're being abused, okay, when you feel that you're not being respected regularly, okay, I mean, I'm not saying one episode and you say, oh, I'm going to get away from here. No. But if you feel that, your opinion is not being respected or your voice is not being heard, okay, I have a lot of such women coming to me and I tell them to step back. Okay, I help them step back and identify their own life. Okay, I had one such lady who came to me at the age of 70. Okay, okay, and I'll share the story with you. She came to me and she says, Doctor, I want to start working. I said, have you ever worked before? And she says, no. So I said, okay. I said, what happened? She said, my husband's friend was coming for tea. Okay, it was the 30th of the month. And I told him, listen, I need some money because I'll call for some snacks for your friend. He threw a 50 rupee note on me and said, learn to earn money, then ask for money. Okay, now she was probably hearing it for many years, right?
Yeah.
So once I sat through with her and I said, okay, let's do one thing. The computers had just come in at that time. So I said, let's do one thing. When do you have free time? She said, between 2 and 4 every afternoon. I said, okay. Can you just sit on the laptop for 2 hours? Okay, guess what? And I said, and how much money do you want to earn? And she said, 30,000. And at that time, 30,000 was a lot of money for someone to start earning. I said, okay, of course, I didn't charge you any fees. And I said, when you make that 30,000, bring me 1 rupee Cadbury chocolate. Okay. You won't believe it. Next month, she came with a Cadbury chocolate. And I was surprised. I was like, what did you do? I was curious. She's like, she said, I know 2 languages, English and Urdu. Okay, you told me to sit on the laptop. I started sitting. There was someone who needed translations from Urdu to English and English to Urdu. Okay, so I just started helping that person, and the person was paying her in dollars.
Wow.
Okay, so people have the ability to transform, but when they start making that boundary, when you feel disrespected, when you feel it's time to step back, whether it is your spouse, whether it is your in-laws, whether it is your own children, it's time to step back and say, okay, I often tell people that if something is bothering your sleep enough, okay, talk to a mental health specialist. You may just talk to a psychologist and figure out what is it? Why is this bothering my sleep?
Right.
Okay,
So-
don't take a sleeping pill, don't drink alcohol. Step back and work on yourself, work on defining your emotional boundary that you create. Don't leave the house, don't kill yourself. Why should you kill yourself?
Correct. Yes.
Kill the expectation from the other person.
I like that. So, ma'am, many women today, they feel divided between the roles of a parent, partner, professional, and somewhere in all of that, they are juggling. They
Right.
lose sight of who they are. So, do you feel this identity conflict combined with the societal expectations and the emotional overload contributes to imposter syndrome?
Absolutely.
And do the women seek help differently than men when they feel this way, or it's only the women who feel this?
No, so see, what happens is that, definitely there's a lot of pressure because sometimes you're a wife, sometimes you're an employee, sometimes you're a mother, sometimes you're, a daughter. Okay, and juggling these roles, sometimes you do it at the cost of your own identity. Okay, but I think it's important that today we tell women to keep the you alive. Okay, and to also do things for yourself. Okay. Of course, we've discussed this earlier that with men, it's not so much. I mean, a man can come home, put his legs on, most men, okay, I wouldn't say all men, but most men can come and, put their legs in front of the TV and just do this exercise for the rest of the evening while the woman is going to the kitchen, making sure everything is done and tomorrow's breakfast and books and bags are ready before she sends the children to school. Okay, and because of that, she may not have time for herself. Okay, and just telling her that do something. I often tell women there's two, three things. One is living 100%. Whatever you're doing, do 100%. Okay, so you want to be a mother, do it 100%. Okay, you want to be a wife, do it 100%, and then don't carry these roles from one to the other. Okay, but at the same time, give yourself some time, half an hour in a day, divide it into 10 minutes three times, divide it into half an hour once, divide it into 15 minutes twice. Okay, just to do what you want to do. You like to listen to music? Play music. Many a times I've also seen women, if you ask them what you like to eat, they don't have an opinion.
Right.
Okay, because they'll
That's
eat,
very common.
yeah, they'll eat what the husband is eating or what the children want to eat.
Yes, yes.
So maybe once a week, say, okay, what is it that I want to eat?
True.
Okay, small choices,
Yes.
So,
So, ma'am, about this imposter
yeah.
syndrome.
So, see, it happens in different, it doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens to a lot of women.
Yeah.
And then because of that, they may have self-doubt and they may feel that, there is, they're not right, or whether they're just worrying. Okay. But I definitely think that this could just be a covering for maybe some anxiety, some depression, which is happening underneath. Okay.
Right.
Is something that you need to, maybe visit a mental health professional and get out of it. You don't need to stay there.
I think being kind to ourselves is also very important, and
Most
understanding
important.
that we can't be perfect at all the places at the same time.
Absolutely.
Like you said, you can be 100% wife, you can be 100% daughter, 100% mother, 100% professional, but you have to juggle. And at one time, maybe you're not 100%.
Yeah, you can't be everywhere. So stop
Right.
trying to be everywhere.
Right.
There is no Wonder Woman. It is women who made this Wonder Woman title.
Yes.
But there is no Wonder Woman. The woman is just another human being. Okay. And the faster you know people, you let other people know around you, So whether
Right.
it is asking your husband to step in or talking to him, all you young women who are listening to this, even talking about finances. Many a times, you're just expected to earn, but you have no role in spending.
That is one of our pillars of the Vibe that we are doing about
Yes.
financial literacy, how that is so important for women today.
Right.
So having their role on spending is extremely important. Ma'am, it's been such amazing perspectives you have given on things. And the thing I will always remember is keep the you alive.
Absolutely.
And with this, I would tell Lotika to take the further segments.
So, and if you are happy, everybody around you is going to be happy. And even if they're not, it's not your problem.
Right.
Let them learn to
That's
be
not your
happy.
problem.
Absolutely.
That is so correct the way you said it. Now, moving on to the next segment, digital age, pressure, and perfectionism. We've all seen the digital revolution. It has its pros, it has its cons, and with a huge spectrum ranging from being a platform to grow as well as to a platform to overexpose and spark safety issues. Amid a career aspiration, success is getting gender biased and fueling the space for perfectionism. So, with this, I would like to know, Anjali, with the growing popularity of social media apps, more and more people, and especially more and more women, are online. Is social media reshaping how women perceive their self-worth and their body image?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, when COVID hit, what we realized was that people were looking at their face for 8 to 10 hours a day. Okay. So typically, when you start doing that, you also start obsessing about it. Okay. And see, social media, when you watch a reel, okay, people don't put up bad stories or their bad hair stories on social media. Okay. So people will put up their best pictures. People will put up, you put on social media, you'll see your friend is going on a holiday. She's taking the 5th holiday while you've only taken 2 in the year. Okay, her husband is getting her gifts. Her children are being so nice to her. It almost looks like one of those early Hindi movie stories.
Yes. Mm.
Barjatia's families, like सब हंस रहे हैं, सब खुश हैं. Okay, but in actual family,
True.
things are going all haywire. Okay, so I
Yes.
think social media is responsible for changing people's perceptions. Okay, and also what happens in social media is you see something, the algorithm is made in such a way that it will show you more and more of that.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that can definitely impact you. Okay. Again, the body that we see that probably one person has, okay, 1 in 10,000 has that body that 9,999 people are trying to achieve.
Mhm.
Right? And of course, today
Yes.
with AI, you can correct so many things. Okay,
Yes.
so what happens is that again, I mean, people are then so conscious, oh, I have a double chin here. Let me go to somebody who will cosmetically correct me. Okay, if I have curly hair, I want straight hair. So let me go do this. And there is no end to do
Mhm.
this. And then what happens is while you're doing all this, you actually lose what you have, which is your individuality. Okay.
Mhm.
The other thing is, the other harm is of being on social media is that anyone can contact you, reach out to you, tell you flowery stories, okay, get involved in your life,
Mhm.
okay, and before you know it, you may be into a relationship with
Oh,
that,
yes.
okay, and we are seeing a lot of sextortion happening because of that, to the
Mhm.
extent that, I'm a part of an NGO which is called as Brush of Hope, okay, where we are dealing with crimes which are happening. I'll share the number if you like to circulate it, which
Okay.
is we are getting calls from people who are being affected. Okay, of course, it's not only a women's helpline, but we are
Yes.
seeing girls because the helpline started because of a young doctor who killed herself after
Okay.
being sextorted online. And she
Mhm.
was too ashamed to tell her family that though she was a doctor, she had, maybe shared images or whatever it was, whether the person was making those images and threatening her that he would share it.
Mm.
Okay, so I think it's very
Yeah.
important that we understand while we want to increase our knowledge, okay, and
Mhm.
we want to maybe increase our own popularity or whatever we want to do, okay, and you
Mm.
want to use an online platform, it's important to understand that we don't get obsessed with it, okay, obsessed with the
Yeah.
number of followers, obsessed with doing everything online, that we forget how it is to live offline.
To actually live offline. Yeah. Okay. So this year for World Diabetes, the theme was well-being at the workplace, and I see that Mind Temple is also instrumental in working around mental health and well-being at the workplaces and educational institutes. So, what would be your top 3 mantras to be deployed in this syllabus?
So I think the first thing is what we talk about is, knowing your mental health, understanding your mental health, and creating awareness for other people's mental health. Suicide is growing very rapidly in our country, and many a times there could be some signs and symptoms that can be visible to other people before you do something about it. The third thing is we also talk about the importance of addictions, whether it is alcohol, substance, vaping, which has become so common, okay,
Mm.
or even social media addictions, and
Yes.
kind of help people to navigate through this and take help. And we like to encourage other people to help people who may be suffering with emotional disorders at the workplace, which may just be coming up as a bad performance. So instead of reprimanding someone, find out why is it that he or she has not been doing well.
True, true. So, very interesting mantras. Now, I'd like to hand over to Dr. Ritu for the next segment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lotika. Dr. Anjali, we've been really hearing all this, and I can tell you that not only one or not all of us, as well as the audience, must be resonating so much with all the perspectives, that you're sharing here. So my segment brings in the gap between fiction and reality. So you've absolutely set the tone where, we talk about how much to really look at and how much to not get obsessed with. And we all are living in the social media life today, like you said. So now I'm bringing in the leader's perspective, your perspective. As you exactly said, there is no superwoman. That is definitely a myth created. But given the perspective that we've set, I'll just like to summarize that you just mentioned women are perfect caregivers. And we know that there is an identity crisis. We know there's a performance guilt that we all carry, whether it is home, whether it's work, and it's these women itself, like you said, for the bitch and bichara as well, who are the third parties mentioning this to the women and making them again trained in the same way to again build another era of women to be inborn with this performance guilt. And of course, there's burnout, there's compassion. So quickly, I will lead you to the last two questions that we have. First one being, have you personally felt overwhelmed or burnt out? And how did you find your reset button? How did you bring in the balance again? Any rituals or daily habits that helped you prevent this? Quick advice.
So see, of course, I'm a human being. I've been a woman. I've gone through clinical depression 3 times in my life, and I've taken antidepressants for it. The first time was, in fact, I was prescribed it, okay, by my obstetrician. And I looked at it and I said, "Oh, you want me to take this?" He says, "Yeah, you have any thoughts about it?" And we discussed it, and I took the medication. Okay.
It's
Then
amazing.
second time, I remember, I think my daughter went to boarding school, and I just couldn't deal with the fact that she had gone away, and I was exercising, I was doing everything, and I said after some time, I said, "What are you doing here? Just take an antidepressant for some time." I took an SSRI for a few months, and then I came out of it. But of course, I did it under supervision. Okay. And then, of course, as you grow, I mean, today I'm 61. So, of course, life teaches you a lot of things. Okay. So, I think one thing which I do is when I feel overwhelmed, I share. Okay. I share with my friends what I'm feeling. I have a huge group of people I share with. Okay.
Wonderful.
And that helps me also, along with, sometimes even our work. I mean, I remember an actor telling me, he says, it's your work is like going to a graveyard every day. Happy people don't come to see you. I said, "Oh, yeah." And then when people become happy, they don't recognize you also outside, you know.
Oh my
But
God.
but of course, outside my clinic, I'm a normal person, and I'm a normal daughter, normal wife, normal mother, of course, and I have my little ones who take care of me. I have 4 of them around me all the time. So I'm also into animal welfare, and I work with my senior citizens. I have a group of 300-400 senior citizens,
Wonderful.
who've been coming to the clinic for more than 20 years now. They have a group, they sing, dance, they enjoy themselves. So my trust works with, animal senior citizens and mentally ill, of course. Okay, so I think keeping all this, just don't take yourself seriously, is what I tell everybody, including myself. We all make mistakes. We'll all do our best, but maybe our best is not always the best,
Yeah. Wonderful.
So,
I think it's brilliant the way you said, and I've heard you also mentioned that you use a lot of even animal therapy for your
yes,
patients.
yes,
So I'm
yes.
sure that we all need to really find that peace with inner self. Like you earlier also mentioned that love yourself and look at your individuality as the special thing. If we're going to copy others, then probably we're not looking at ourselves enough. So probably that is where you need to search yourself and
Yeah.
as
Find your own style and do what
absolutely
makes you happy.
true.
That is something. And who knows, your style will become the style.
Yes,
later
yes, you
on.
may be the one who set the
Yes.
trend. So
Yes.
definitely, I think that is the mantra that I would take from you. You also answered my last question, but quickly, any three things, because we have a huge audience, we'll also have people hearing us a lot later. So any 3 points you would want to give to people today listening to you?
I think it's important, as I'll repeat what I said, is do your best, but don't take yourself so seriously.
Mhm.
Okay. Two is stay connected with
Right,
anything that makes you happy.
right,
People, animals, plants, so you are kind of enjoying yourself. Third is if your sleep gets affected, catch hold of, I mean, I know doctors are listening to us, so catch hold of your psychiatrist friend and say, is there any questionnaire that I can do? I want to know whether this is stress, distress, or have I slipped into a mental health issue? And if so, please give me medicine. Please treat me fast. I want to get out of it and I want to enjoy my life. And the last thing which I want to leave people with is death is not the answer. Suicide is not the answer, whatever your problems may be. Okay. So when you're alone, find other people like you, do something for someone else, and that will make you happy. Okay. I adopted this one because he was given up. Okay. And today he makes me happy. So I don't know
wonderful. I
whether it
think
is his dependence or my dependence, which we are working on.
super. I think it is coherent, definitely. So quickly, we'll shift gears. I know we are above time, but ma'am, we will not want to leave you without the rapid pulse,
Oh,
which is, our quick rapid fire round. Time to switch gears. So let's lighten up. Quick questions that I'm going to ask you. So whatever comes to you instinctively, honestly, we'll just hear that. What
oh.
superpower woman should stop trying to have, and one she should adopt?
One superpower that she should stop trying to have is stop caring about what people say.
Yeah,
Okay. And adopt loving yourself.
lovely. For the person, what would you say to it?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
If guilt, if guilt, like we said, women are built with guilt. If
Uh,
guilt was a human being, a person, living person, what would
what
you
would be
say
my
to it?
response? Get lost. Don't ever enter my life. I'll do
I
what I
love
want.
that. I can absolutely visualize you kicking guilt off the door. That's wonderful. Your most used phrase of the day, would it be I can understand because you're a good listener, or would it be a please hear me out, or anything else?
No, I think it is the body language which is important. Okay, the body language has to be that your phone is away as a doctor and you're looking into the eyes. And I think empathy talks more than words.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Uh-huh.
Next one. What's some funny incidents you remember from your patient stories that made you lol or laugh out loud? Anything that comes to your mind?
I was treating this one person for infidelity. At the end of the session, he's telling me, "You've got lovely feet." And I just looked at him and I was like, hello? Well, I don't know how I'm going to throw you out of here.
So sweet. Okay, wonderful. And I can absolutely imagine how you kept your sanity even, despite of that response. What's the quickest way to retire your inner superwoman? Would it be Netflix, naps, or a non-stop binge on your choices food?
I think a nap and chatting with my friends or going for a walk. I just love to walk. I walked
Lovely. So we know
25
where to find you.
kilometers one day.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. What's more dangerous, unrealistic expectations or unlimited WhatsApp groups?
Unrealistic expectations. Unlimited WhatsApp group you can silence.
So you can
Unrealistic
silence.
expectations you have to silence yourself. You
True
know.
that. I take that. Yes, yes. What's more overrated in your practice? Is it burnout? Is it depression? Or is it the perfectionism that you cater to or come across?
Perfectionism, I think. You know.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Superwoman. Now, this is the last one. So I'll probably, give you a second. If a superwoman walked into your clinic, what would you tell her first? I hope
Look
it's
into
not get
the
lost.
No, look into the mirror. Tell yourself you're normal. Breathe. Don't put so much expectation on your own head.
True that.
No.
Beautifully answered. as you are so gorgeous, ma'am, and so sharp, so sincere, empathetic, composed, so authentic. Exactly what we would love the vibe also to be looked upon. Thank you so much for answering our questions. I will now ask Rukia to do the closing of our episode of today.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, ma'am. There have been so much of learning pearls today, and you just reminded us today that women, they do not need to be superwomen. So that is one thing that we all need to know, that we don't need to be superwomen. We just need a room to be real. And all our panelists here, they also helped us see the power of honesty, the boundaries, how we should create, and also the self-kindness that we should have for us and people around us. So instead of judging others and judging ourselves, we should just be kind and compassionate to ourselves. Like you said, you need to do your best, but do not take yourself seriously. So that is very important. And this is the heart of the vibe, where we want to create a space where women feel seen, they feel supported, and never alone. So thank you so much for having us, for being here today with all of us. And thank you, each one of us here. Thank you. And we are so grateful for you to have shared your time and heart with us here today. Your stories have been amazing, and the pearls of wisdom that you have shared. And what's going to stay with me most is that you just stay connected with anyone who you feel like, whether it's a human being, whether it's an animal, whether it's a plant, it's being connected, which will keep us grounded.
And connected with yourself, which is very
with
important.
Yourself, yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And
so Pranjali, what is your...
remove the I should from your life. Whatever you want to do, do
it. Yes, and do something for someone that will make you happy.
That helps.
Yes. Yeah.
So for me, it is like live 100%, but I'm going to meet you soon and your lovely babies, because I was like, I wanted to cuddle them. So that's the best part.
I'm coming.
Most welcome. Most welcome. They're at my clinic the whole day.
And I'm definitely going to come. So, yes. So Dr. Ritu?
A lot of things. I don't know what to say and what not. We've already overshot the time, but I would love to meet you, ma'am. And there's so much to talk to you. There's so much of resonance that comes in. But I guess two things that I would like to bring up. One is, of course, stay connected, because, that girl power or the sisterhood is really real. I guess all of us derive so much inspiration from each other that, it really gives you a different perspective altogether, rather than just being within your own four walls. And the second thing, which I think is a very out loud message for us to bring to the society, is death is not the answer, and of course, try to help people around you, the child in front of you versus the geriatric or even the young ones. They may be going through a lot of mental dilemma. So try to be there and be the impact that you can bring in.
Yeah, and ask. Sometimes as doctors, we judge. No, we judge the person and say, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Instead of we say, why are you not exercising? Since all of you are into lifestyle, you'll get a lot of insights, from the people themselves.
Let's take a picture. The wild.
Yeah. So I got that suicide is not the answer. Kill the expectation, not yourself. I think that was really very powerful, very powerful message. Yeah. Of course, there are a whole lot of things that I did note down, but I think this is so thank you so much. And I think time for us to smile and be the vibe.
Be the vibe. Let's just take a picture.
Anjali, you can also join.
Yes. So you can join them together. That makes a W.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and then we just say be the vibe. So at the count of 3 to 1. So 3, 2, 1.
Be the vibe.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for having me here.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, I did.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.